Welcome back to QC Life. This Valentine's Day, we want to make sure everyone is feeling the love. And you know what the most important kind of love is? Self-love. So today we have Kenesha Berry, a marriage coach and author, here to help us get through that holiday. Kenesha, I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So obviously as a marriage coach and author, you know how to help people when they get to the finish line, but there's a long way to go before that, and you really focus on making sure that you can be that happy person with yourself before you get somebody else involved. So I'm really excited to hear from you. What steps can we take to make sure that we are focused on creating the best self before we go and find a relationship?
Absolutely. So one of the things I find, and I've coached women on this, is making sure you have a vision and having a clear vision. Not so much just a vision about marriage, but a vision for yourself. Because I find as women, we are nurturers and we will give everything to the next person in our life, right? But we want to know who we are before we enter into those relationships, so we know, one, what we're giving up, and also what we want to hold on to. Yeah.
I think that's so special, and something that's very unique about you is the fact that you don't subscribe to that soulmate mindset. Now, before everyone gets crazy, explain to everyone why.
Well, because one of the things we never talk about is that we all have soul wounds. So the way you hear that in therapy is trauma. So when we talk about we want a soulmate, what we attract oftentimes are people who connect with our soul wound. The wound of abandonment, the wound of neglect, the wound of rejection. And so then you and I meet, or the mate meet, and you're triggering my wound. So you are my soulmate because what you're inviting me to do is then to get healing for that wound. But we don't think like that about love and relationships. We want the fairy tale. We want the happily ever after. But I believe that relationships are really for healing and not necessarily for happiness. And I think when you do the work, and I have, definitely have testimonials of that once you do the emotional work that's required to heal, to grow, to mature, then you get to be happily married or happily in a relationship. But that's what the relationship is there for, to help you recognize those places that you need to grow.
So I love the fact that you do focus on making sure that you are a healed person, that you feel healthy and healed in yourself and your own skin. I always like to say, and I've heard this from my own mentors, you've got to be a happy me before you can enter into a happy me, right?
Absolutely. I always say to married couples, a lot of times we think we have marriage issues, but we have me issues.
Oh, wait, say it one more time for the people in the back.
Yeah.
One more time.
So I found that a lot of couples get married and they think they have a marriage issue, but they have a me issue. So who am I bringing with me into the marriage? And I don't examine that, right? Who did my husband marry? And when I think all the problem is him, and if he would change, if he would do this differently, then I need to go back and go, what's going on with me? That leaving socks on the floor is such a big deal. Because
it's a breaker, is what it is. It's a breaker. The hamper's right there.
Like,
we know
is it, right? So I encourage my clients, let's go deeper to find out what is that really triggering, because what it's probably triggering is that you don't find yourself, you think he doesn't think you're valuable enough to pick up the socks. So it's not about the socks.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's deeper than the socks.
It's deeper than the socks. And I want people to start having the conversations that's deeper instead of spending years arguing about the simple things.
Yeah. Now, it can be really challenging to dive into, like you said, the beyond the sock conversation. So getting into that space. So what do you like to do to make people feel safe enough talking about those kinds of feelings with their partner?
First, I always say the most important relationship you're having is the one you're having with you. So we need to get to know us. We all have 6 emotional basic needs. We need to feel important. Like, it's not just a want. We need to feel safe. We need to feel valuable. If I don't communicate that with you, or I don't know that's the need that's driving me, I'm doing everything to get the need met, but oftentimes in a negative way. Because if we've gone all day and haven't talked, and I'm feeling like I need your attention, but I don't have the language within myself to know, right now I need to feel important to my partner. If I get in an argument with you, guess what? I just became the most important person in the room, but not in a positive way.
That's so interesting. Now, Kenesha, I know that you have so much more information, and what is actually great is if, let's say you find the perfect Valentine this Valentine's Day, and this time next year we're hearing wedding bells, you have some really great resources for people.
Absolutely. So I have the book, Think Your Way to a Better Marriage. And what goes along with the book is a online course called Think Your Way to a Better Marriage. So it's a 6-week online course where I literally help you dive in. It's a live course, so you're not by yourself. Help you dive into finding out what are those emotional needs. What those soul wounds that's showing up in the relationship when you guys are so busy trying to have a soul mate and what you're connecting to is a soul wound. So we begin to unearth those things so that you have a new language to communicate more effectively.
Thank you so much for sharing those resources, for being a coach. We want to put your information up here so that everybody can be connected with you. This is the coach for your heart, and we love that, to make sure that you can discover that sense of self that you need this Valentine's Day. Make it about you. Make it about finding those conversations within yourself. Kanisha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jorge.